Hello everyone and welcome to a Resident Evil 9 Requiem deep dive into what we know so far. As more information comes to light before the game's release on February 27th of 2026, don't be shy to post down in the comments of things that come up later or details that I may have missed. But without further delays, let's dive in, and I hope you enjoy. We start the trailer of a man who is fast approaching a woman who is an FBI agent filing out a report on a series of deaths caused by an unidentified disease that was discovered at an abandoned government office before her name is called. Grace Ashcroft is the potential protagonist, as her last name might be familiar to those who have played the 2003's Resident Evil Outbreak, where Alyssa Ashcroft was one of 8 playable characters. Though none could blame you for not having played it, as Resident Evil Outbreak was mostly focused on being an online game released on a console before online console gaming was widespread or easily done. For those who haven't played Resident Evil Outbreak or just want a bit of a refresher on who Alyssa Ashcroft is, she was an investigative reporter for the Raccoon Press who focused on social cases. In 1993, one of many notable investigations was that she helped a fellow reporter, Kurt, on suspicious activities at a private hospital in the northwestern Arklay Mountains, where the case revealed an illegal drug testing scheme secretly sponsored by the Umbrella Corporation. In 1994, she reported on renovations at Raccoon University. In 1996, she covered a story about a heavily decomposed body discovered on the shores of the Ames River near the same private hospital she reported on in 1993, and found that body showed traces of unknown chemicals and suggested that a certain corporation might be illegally dumping chemical waste into the river. A large portion of her career seemingly rooted out the evil of Umbrella. During the Raccoon City outbreak during the game, she was among the few who managed to escape Raccoon City before its destruction by the US government's sterilization strategy, as one of her articles can be found in Resident Evil 7 on over 20 missing in 2 years due to the Baker family in 2016. Going back to the trailer though, Grace is requested to investigate a new body that has been discovered that shows the same pathology similar to that of the other 4 victims that they've been investigating. She is to go to the Wrenwood Hotel, apparently the same hotel that Alyssa Ashcroft was murdered in 8 years prior to Resident Evil Requiem, according to her superior. After this point in the trailer though, many things come down to speculation, as not much else is shown or really discussed by other characters. We see Grace suffer from things that look like flashbacks or visions, but this could be interpreted as Alyssa's memories, or perhaps what Grace thinks happened those 8 years ago her mother went to the hotel. We see scenes of Grace waking up in a stretcher, presumably hung upside down as her hair is falling upwards, and a wound on her chest, most likely caused by her first encounters she'll be having in the game and being unprepared for the thing she stumbles upon. Cutting to black, it flashes back into shots of a long abandoned hallway, most likely in the actual hotel. A woman's voice informing someone to stay close. A brick wall covered in old missing persons photos, most likely victims of Umbrella taking people either for test subjects or because they knew too much. But most interestingly is a man sitting in a chair saying that he now knows that you're the one he's been searching for, the special one, the chosen one, Miss Ashcroft. Again, no real information is discussed about who this man is or even his face to help us identify him aside from his voice, and with voice actors changing roles, even that could be potentially difficult, though we could theorize that due to the heavy tie-in with Raccoon City, the Ashcrofts, and by proxy Umbrella Corporation, a theory that I personally believe is that Grace may have some cure, or at least something in her blood or DNA, that Umbrella desires for their future projects. Alyssa went to Wrenwood Hotel for some reason, could have been lured to the hotel for this exact same reason to collect what Umbrella desired, but either something went wrong, or more than likely, Alyssa didn't have what they needed, and thus was no longer of use, and makes a perfect lure for her daughter Grace to get caught in the mess. So of course, it's just a theory, so let me know what you think in the comments below. To round off the trailer, we're shown shots of what is Raccoon City after the bomb was dropped. Mind you, the bomb they used was not a nuke, but a thermobaric missile, and as such would allow us, the players, to roam and explore most locations of the now ruined Raccoon City. We hear numerous other voices, a man saying to stay away from here, and a female voice saying, "You are my hope," along with shots of a large worm-like creature, the shots of a potential killer that may have killed Alyssa along with someone being infected. We also see shots of the ruined locations of the Raccoon Police Department, possibly making a nod that we will in fact be delving deeper into the ruins of many iconic locations. All in all, that pretty much wraps up this trailer, but I would like to mention that in most Resident Evil games we have always seen an original member. As of Resident Evil 7 and 8, that just entails Chris. But with the many voices we hear in the trailer, it's safe to assume we might see different past members such as Leon or Jill, or maybe just Chris again. Something that I would also like to see, what with the inclusion of these other voices, along with the fact that Alyssa was from Resident Evil Outbreak, a game with 8 potential characters that you could play from, would be the inclusion of possibly playing multiple characters within Resident Evil 9 Requiem. Perhaps we would be able to switch between some fan favorites such as Jill, Chris, Leon, and the likes, or we would be able to pick one character from certain chapters here and there, or much like Resident Evil 6, each individual character could have their own storylines altogether. It would be interesting to see them tie this in. I'm not sure that would actually be very feasible or something that the fan base would want, but I feel like it would be something to give this game that extra mile and that extra oomph, rather than feeling like a bit of a copycat between Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, of just playing one protagonist that goes through the journey, finding something that only pertains to them with just the same general gameplay. It would be interesting to spice up the gameplay by adding multiple storylines, perhaps with different angles, almost like on how Resident Evil 7 had a different ending based on who you saved. All in all though, that's just a bit of a theory that I have and or a hope that maybe is added into the game, but we will see. Something I'm personally loving about the trailer is the fact that this is going to be something more than just your usual Resident Evil title of Umbrella Corporation, bioweapons, or zombies. With the inclusion of a past murder and new creature designs, this is going to hopefully have more avenues of story, in both finding our mother's murderer, but also discovering how it ties in with the creatures we will soon be facing as we take up her mantle to investigate the hotel. That's all I have for right now, but I'm excited to see the next installment of Resident Evil, as the move to go back to its horror roots with Resident Evil 7, including the first-person perspective, has brought to us, has made me really revitalize my love of the franchise, and I can't wait to sink my teeth deeper into it once we learn more. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts and theories, as I'd love to hear them. Let me know if I missed any details, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. Some videos being Let's Plays, some being these lore and theory videos that will be posted hopefully twice a week as of right now, and hopefully I see you all in the next video. See you then.